Despite having only one scoring title, LeBron has averaged 25 points per game for 17 straight seasons. And one day after 33-year-old Steph Curry became the oldest scoring champ since 34-year-old Michael Jordan, LeBron took to social media to tell people, to claim people often overlook his production for another stat. He tweeted his own scoring accomplishment and said this: "Since I was 19 years old, and I'm a pass-first guy, always been. That's why I'm never mentioned with the greats of scoring, huh? That's perfect, because I'd rather keep it that way." So, Shannon, is it necessary for LeBron to defend his ability to score?
Only if it was necessary for Michael Jordan to release the Last Dance documentary to highlight how great he was. And he released it, and he gave him permission on the day the Cavaliers celebrated their parade. If it was okay for him to do it, this is okay for LeBron. Because he doesn't get. Because when you talk about scores, the first name come to mind: Jordan, Kobe, KD. But none of them have done this. 25 points for, first of all, 12 seasons is where the cutoff is. Where the cutoff is. LeBron has done 17 straight. Not what he's done. Now, guys of the top 5 scorers, Skip, the average at least 7 assists in a season. Jordan has 1. Wilt has 2. Baylor has none. Jerry West has 4. KD has 0. LeBron James has done that 12 times. 12! So when we hear scorers, Skip, most of the time, scorers are not asked to do anything but put the ball into the basket. And so we don't look at LeBron at doing that at a high level, even though he has more 40-point games than Kevin Durant. He has more 50-point games than Kevin Durant. Yet, people say, and he shoots a higher percentage. So how can, if I have more 40-point games, 50-point games, shoot a higher percentage from the field than you, how can you be more efficient than me? How can you be a better scorer than me? Now, KD is decimal points. Jerry West is decimal points higher in scoring average. LeBron, I think, is 27. KD's like 27.2. I think Jerry West 27.1. So you see, Skip, they're right there. But when you tack in a rebounding, you see, Jordan could score, but he had Rodman to rebound. He had Scottie Pippen to assist. Kobe had Powell, had Shaq to rebound, had Derek Fisher to assist. LeBron James doesn't have that luxury. LeBron, I need you to assist. I need you to go give me 30 also. But, hey, while you at it, while you give me those 8 to 10 assists, can you also give me 9 to 12 rebounds? Sure thing. So for me, Skip, I do not have a problem with this, because sometimes you have to put your resume out, because, Skip, they don't see it. They forget. You hear the, score. LeBron can score, but scoring has not ever been the only thing that he was concerned with. And they put so much on his plate. I believe Steph Curry became one of the oldest scoring champs, Skip, because he's like, well, hell, I got to have something to show for this season. I'm going for it. He went for it. He got it. I got no problem with that. But they don't ask Steph to do what they ask LeBron to do, because Draymond does that. Draymond facilitates the offense. Draymond gets the rebounds. So I don't have a problem with what LeBron did, because just like you didn't have a problem with the Last Dance documentary, when all it was a montage to show just how great Jordan was. Am I correct?
No, it was the inside story of a GM and an owner who were going to run off a legendary head coach, and Jordan had dug in and said, he goes, I go. And he did. He walked right out the door.
Well, why I need to see all that? Why I need to see
that? Had never been reported like that.
Well, we know it was. But let me ask you a question, Skip. Well, why do we need to see all those footage, all that footage of those last-second shots? If it's about the GM and the owner that's running me off, you don't need to see no footage of me. I can just tell you the story.
Well, when the story was over, the world sat back and said, he's the GOAT.
I know.
That's all they said. It was game over for LeBron James.
I'm trying to figure out, how can someone believe that this man is the GOAT when he's telling a story about the GM and the owner running him off?
All I know is, what is LeBron talking about when he says, I'm never mentioned as one of the great scorers?
He's not.
That's all he's ever mentioned.
No, he's not, Skip.
Are
no, he's
you
not.
kidding me?
No.
He's about to pass Karl Malone to become the second highest scorer in the history of this league. And at some point, he will pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and become the first scorer.
Because
he will play 20 years, much longer than Michael played. And
whose fault is that? See, you hold that against LeBron. For some reason, you hold LeBron, his ability to stay in peak level condition. Jordan chose to do what he did. Why do you fault LeBron for Jordan's transgressions?
It's a new time. It's a new day. People understand, see Tom Brady, how to play quarterback at age 44 at a Super Bowl level.
But,
right?
hold on. But you know what I noticed? You never mentioned when Tom Brady mentioned he had 7 rings. And when he's looking up at that thing 7, what was he at, Jenny? Was he in Dubai? Was he in Qatar? And he's looking up at 7. You didn't say you had a problem with that. When he mentioned 7 rings, you don't have a problem with that. But LeBron mentioned his greatness, you have a problem with it. Why?
No, I don't have a problem. It's just like, yeah, you're mentioned as a top scorer. I get this.
No, they're
yes,
not.
he is.
Skip.
You're about to pass the 2 greatest scorers ever. What are you talking about?
Skip, that's the
Stop
Skip,
it.
that's the
you know what this was? This was a backdoor, backhanded, backslap. LeBron saying, look how great I am through the back door because, I'm not a great scorer. I am a great scorer. Baloney. Everybody thinks you're a great scorer.
Let me ask you a question. When people mention their top 5 scorers of all times, how many times is LeBron James in there? The only guy that I've heard say that.
He's in there every time because he's the number 3 on the list.
No. It's KD. It's Kobe. It's Jordan. It's all these guys. They talk about Tracy McGrady. They talk about all these guys. That's what's so amazing. Here's a guy that's sitting number 3 on the all-time scoring list. But when you think about top scorers, he's never thought of. He doesn't not the first one to come to your mind. Why not?
The first one?
Why not?
Well, Jordan's the first one because he won 10 scoring titles. LeBron's 1. So that's game over right there.
See, that's the thing. Jordan was about scoring. LeBron James was always asked to do more than score. So he just couldn't just focus on scoring. Just imagine if LeBron had a Shaq and he says, okay, all I got to do is just score. Shaq go get the rebounds and do all that. That would have been a different ball game.
Time out.
But he never had to play with that.
Last year in the bubble, I watched LeBron benefit from having one of the greatest point guards in the history of this game alongside named Playoff Rondo. He had him in the bubble, and Rondo made so many big shots and big plays down the stretch of so many big finals games.
I'm not trying to minimize anybody. All I'm saying is that you look at LeBron's body of work.
Did he not have Anthony Davis?
Yes.
Who's been the PER prince of this league for years?
Skip. This is his first time having a guy like AD. He had D Wade. He got D Wade in year 10? But he's never had
Chris
a Shaq
Bosh
in his
looks like he's going into the Hall of Fame next year. Wow.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Okay, Shaq in his prime, Anthony Davis, or D Wade. Who you want? Shaq in his prime.
Well, you're talking about the greatest offensive force ever.
Okay, Skip. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. LeBron's right up there in offensive force because he is simply the greatest freight train driver of the basketball I have ever seen. Nobody can keep LeBron from the rim, especially the skeletons the other night.
But Skip,
nobody can keep him from the rim.
Think about that.
What's amazing is he's averaged 25 a game for 17 years.
17!
And he's a lousy shooter. That's what's scary about it is he's a lousy three-point shooter. He's even worse free throw shooter, and he's done this because he can drive the basketball like nobody.
If you don't mind me asking, if he's a lousy shooter and he's shooting 50% from the floor, what's Kevin Durant? Who's shooting less than that?
Well, Kevin Durant's a mid-range, deadly jump shooter.
Well, hold on, Skip. So if I shoot from 15 feet, you lay the ball up and dunk. How many points you get? How many points do I get?
LeBron's a great scorer. You're making my case. I got it. You're right.
Skip, I know, Skip. You're preaching to the choir. I need you to give this to the congregation. I know what LeBron represents. I followed his career from its entirety. I'm talking about other people that when you mention great scorers, he doesn't get the credit that he deserves because that's not all that he does is score. 17 straight seasons of 25 points or more says that he's a great scorer.
Yeah.
But you don't hear that when they talk about KD.
Everybody says it. Everybody says it.
Who?
In a vacuum, would you rather have KD taking the last shot or LeBron? I'll take KD. Jordan or LeBron? I'll take Jordan.
But here's the thing. Every time I hear people say great scores, Skip, nobody mentions. Richard Jefferson was the first said that LeBron is the greatest scorer, considering the consistency and the level in which he's produced. But for me, Skip, they talk about Jordan, and Jordan was a prolific scorer. But when you look at 17 straight seasons, you look at KD, even though KD is a great scorer. I'm not saying KD isn't, because he is an all-time great. But KD's greatest assist season is 5.9. That's also LeBron's lowest as his rookie year.
Okay, but for Kevin Durant, 6 assists a game, that's pretty great.
We do that, Skip. That's the fewest assists we've ever had.
He's a point guard. He was a natural-born point guard. He's still the best passer in basketball, and he's the best driver of the basketball.
Say that. He's all those things and a great scorer.
So he used this to take a shot at Jordan again to try.
Well, they don't Skip.
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay. Well, look what he did here. I got 17 straight, and then he goes, no 16s, no 15, no 14, no 13. Who did he list first at 12? Jordan.
Skip.
Okay, so what happened to Michael's career? Let's look at it in context, shall we? Because he played 13 seasons as a Chicago Bull.
Right.
And he should have averaged 25 plus for 13 seasons, but he broke his leg in his second season and he averaged 23 because he only played like 11 games.
What do you want me to do with that, Skip?
Okay, well, he would have obviously averaged 30 that year if he had played the whole season.
Okay.
He might have averaged 35.
Okay, you know what, Skip Bayless? You know what? I'm going to give you that. I'm going to say, just for the sake of argument, for this discussion you and I have, Jordan averaged 25. Now go ahead, keep it going.
Yep.
Now what? So that gives me 13.
He played 13 seasons. Then he said, I quit.
Okay.
If you're going to run off my coach, I quit.
Okay.
And he walked into the sunset in Chicago. I was there.
Okay.
And he stayed gone for 3 whole years.
Okay.
And then he came back as a ceremonial player in Washington at age 38 and 39 in lousy shape.
But you know what I'm going to do?
Lousy shape.
But you know what, Skip? Just because it's you, I'm going to give him the 2 years.